Hi, my name is Антон Солодкий. I'm a student of the design school UPROCK. And in this video I want to talk about the redesign project of the Science News website that I've done as part of my studying in the school. Science News is one of the oldest science magazines, and while their printed issues are always bright and colorful with some funny pictures, their website is having some troubles with keeping up. Although it's more or less tidy, it's completely featureless. It could just as well be a site selling motorboats or, I don't know, dentistry. So there's no sort of identity in it and therefore no excitement. But science, at least popular science like in this magazine, should be exciting, right? This main blue color is just too boring and overused. For example, this seemingly important block feels like yet another annoying and unnecessary ad that everyone would just ignore. So there is inconsistency in design decisions, lack of a clear structure, and there's not much free space. Navigating through this site might also be quite confusing because of these two levels of links with unexpected drop-down menu. So in general, I wanted to make this website more original and colorful and of course more comfortable to interact with. My work on this project started with the preparation steps. I gathered information about the existing website, what pages were most important, what elements should be on the news cards and in the articles. And then I've made a spreadsheet based on this info, just to not forget anything of it, because there are lots of ideas emerging even at the early stages of development, and they must be structured in some way. Then I analyzed a bunch of other news websites just to understand better their logic, their principles of design, general trends, good and bad design decisions, and I paid special attention to the navigating process because it's always great to simplify user interactions as much as possible, even when the site is huge. And from that moment, I started my work directly in Figma on the news page and the article page. First drafts, text integrations, picking references, taking into account the ideas from the previous stages, and then detailing. In many references, I quite liked the combination of sans serif headers with serif fonts as body text, also because it's quite common for the science magazines to use serifs, so it's a bit of a tribute to this traditional approach. As you can see, I've made lots of versions of the news page just to be sure it would be convenient to read. And in the final version, you can see that the user scans this list vertically with the F pattern without jumping from left to right between the news. Speaking about structure, every page has a 4-column grid where the first column is used mostly for headers, the second and third for main content, and the fourth for captions, pop-ups, more detailed descriptions, and something like that. And here's another thing. In the school, one of the first tasks was to redraw some site with the similar vertical headers, and Jenny then said that it wasn't easy to implement such things well, so it set kind of a challenge for me. And working on this project, I said to myself, it's now or never, and I just rotated some of the headers. I guess in contrast to the original website and its unpleasant angularity, I've made almost every element rounded, because absence of sharp corners is endearing for the user and just doesn't annoy you subconsciously when you spend a lot of time interacting with the website. Then Picking the right color palette wasn't obviously a small stage, and in the end I chose purple as the main color, with the buttons marked a bit more brightly. And the combination of the soft orange elements on the dark purple background is used also quite often. I personally like it very much because I think it's quite calming, but at the same time it's pretty modern without any olden vibes. And about navigation, for simplicity, only main categories are constantly shown on the pages, while other less important links put into the general menu with big and convenient elements, and which also can be easily scaled down to the adaptive versions. So this menu will be already familiar for the user when moving from desktop to adaptives. So working on the main page and adaptives, after that was an easy task because style and design decisions of the main blocks were all set before, and within this framework it was not difficult to pick the right references and come up with something new and interesting. So here's my final versions. It's quite structured and pretty colorful, but not to a fault, because I don't want to scare away the scientific audience with a very stylish or designed look. In conclusion, I can say that with the help of a clear plan, all the work was done consistently and without any intimidating thoughts that this project would be too big. So if you want to have a better look at the project, feel free to visit my Behance page. And thank you and goodbye.